Morning, everybody. Great to see everybody chatting away in our chat before we've even got started. Lovely to see some new people here and obviously our regulars. So good morning from me and good morning from Charlotte. Really looking forward to our Be Career Confidence session today, which is all about going to be split into sections. And we're going to talk about planning, searching, connecting and building. So there are four key areas for this session. Those of you who've been on our sessions before, it tends to be very, very whistle stop, doesn't it, Charlotte? We sort of fly into it. 30 minutes of quick fire. Please add any questions into the chat. Anything specifically that you would like to know, because it gets quite difficult. Charlotte and I having a chat and thinking about what we can offer you, but interaction and anything specific, pop it in there. I've also popped mine and Charlotte's email addresses in there, so that if you want anything specific and ask us anything directly, please do so. But today we're going to be looking about finding that right job for you and how do we go about that. And as I've said, it's on a 4-point plan. So, and it's a bit of a circle. So in my Blue Peter style, because normally I try and share my screen, but that goes a little bit wrong. So now I've printed it off. And if you guys would like this, please drop me an email and I'll send this through to you. So my head will disappear. We are going to work through this plan, which is to start with planning, then with searching, then with connecting, and then with building. And it very much comes to what I've popped in the corner here. It's about building your lifelong career and building that lifelong learning so that you're constantly looking at your career. So we're talking about today and the here and now, but what we're going to work through in this circle really helps you from what you've thought about right early on in your early education through to your career and you evolving as individuals, because life changes and our careers can change and our personal circumstances can change. And our aim is to give you something that actually you can go back to time and time again, that when life throws you a grenade or you want to change something, this is a very simple 4-point plan in a circular motion that you can keep revisiting and think, right, this is how I take control. So I'm going to pass over to Charlotte now to talk to us about the first part, which is planning.
Good morning, everybody. Great, obviously, to be back. Ruth, thank you. I think just quickly on that cyclical learning style, this is something that us who work in the careers support field, career development, careers guidance, recruitment, HR, we often talk about cyclical learning, cyclical process. So it will be something that we will use at various stages throughout this series of Be Career Confident. So planning, we can all plan, and I suppose the first comment is sometimes plans don't work as we want them to. I think the whole world has been sent into that and been reminded of that recently, that this is a plan that you can do personally to yourself, and as much as possible that you can be responsible of looking after and responsible of managing all the time. So several weeks ago, we talked about what good work looks like to us, and that is a really important part of this planning process. Before we even go forward, before we even start thinking about particularly making a transition, career change, progression, starting off, you know, when we're at the top end of our career, this thinking about actually what is our aim, what's our target, what do we want to be going for? That must be a really key and essential part of this first bit of planning. It's the self-reflection. What's going to get me excited? What's going to get me out of bed in the morning? What's going to keep me motivated? So please spend a little bit of time thinking about that, even before you even start. The second bit of the planning is we must make ourselves a spreadsheet, make ourselves whatever way you record information, whether that's just a piece of paper and, you know, handwritten notes, no problem, whether that's an Excel spreadsheet with all your search criteria on it, whatever it is, please record this, particularly at the moment when people are potentially applying for a higher volume of jobs, potentially getting in touch with people, other recruiters who they don't normally work alongside. It's really important that we can keep a really good track of the information of the people that we're talking to and the jobs that we're applying for. We were laughing this morning, saying one of our absolute bugbears, God, it makes our hairs on our arms stand up in a cross way, not in a good way. It's when people ring up and we say, oh, great, thanks so much, you've applied for this. And they go, oh, can you remind me what it was? Because I've applied for so much, I can't remember. It just puts you to the bottom of the queue, and that's us giving you some insight from a recruiter point. So keep a track of it, have it there, have it as a reference document that you can go back to. One of the things I think is quite helpful is to grade things. Which are the jobs that you're really keen on? Which are the jobs where you've either been recommended to apply for it or potentially know somebody within the business? So which are your A jobs, if you want to call them that, or which are your green jobs if you're traffic lighting them, whatever it is, again, that makes you see that those are your priority. Then again, second tier, which are the jobs that you're just applying for in a hope that you might get an interview? Because we're all slightly there at the moment. There's a greater number of those types of applications coming in, because we are in a time where people are at the point where having to bring financial income is potentially taking precedent over finding the right job. But it's just important, and somebody mentioned it to us earlier, it's just important to recognise that that is that type of job. It is okay applying for a job that might not be absolutely perfect at the moment. Just know your expectation and don't necessarily hold it as important as an A job, because it might be. It's quite likely that we won't get interviewed for that, or we won't get asked to, for the next part of the process. So mark that down. So for me, planning. I'm a big planner. There you are, pen in hand already. This is absolutely the fundamental start of finding this right thing. So self-reflection and then a bit of paperwork admin. So that's point one.
And I think on the planning side of things, just to go over that, the challenge is, I think, as well, is that you may have different CVs. So you're looking at different types of roles. So if we look at different sectors, if you're in engineering, you may be applying for an engineering manager's job, but you also may be applying for a project manager's job. And you will have tailored your CV to those types of roles. So on your spreadsheet, or however you may create your logging system, is log the CV that you've sent. At least then that's the one that I did send. And it is important to tailor those CVs to get that right job, and that's what we're talking about, trying to find that right job for you at that time. And it can be very all-consuming. So we've got the plan. And now it comes on to the search. So there is so many ways that we can search. So you've got all of the job boards, obviously. You've got things that will come up on LinkedIn. You've got recruitment agencies that will be advertising roles. You've got clients, employers that will be advertising their roles directly. That could be via a job board. It may just be on their own website. So reflecting back and using that plan, make a note of where you found that job. That will give you a little bit of information as well as the weeks go on to which job boards or which sources are really, really helpful to you. And you can start maybe streamlining your process a little bit. Well, one thing we wanted to cover off today, and there is loads on searching, but we only have half an hour and that's broken into time. But the one thing was about how you search and how you can use your time more effectively. And some of you may already know about this. I'll pop you some links into the chat, but there is a search string called Boolean search string, and you can use this within the job board. So every job board will have this ability so that you can put your criteria in there, that you may be looking for a finance role with audit experience, audit elements to that job. And those jobs, then you can set that up as watchdogs so that those jobs come to you. So in a morning, or whenever that job goes live, that advert will come immediately to you, and you can then apply for it rather than searching every single day. So again, play around with those search strings. When Charlotte starts speaking in a minute, I'll pop these in the chat for you. But have a play around with those of what works well for you, and again, make a note for them all on your plan of this worked well. This will help you also maybe in future. So you secure a job now, but it could be in a year's time, you're looking for something else, you're looking to relocate or something, as you know, this has been a role that you've just taken for a 12-month fixed term contract. Rather than going back to square one again, you can get your plan out, think what worked well for me last time, what elements of that can I bring through into this part of my search, and start from a higher base. My one tip on searching would be that use those search criterias. It's what recruiters and internal hirers use to find you. So they will be putting those criteria in. So if we're looking for somebody, quality manager with specific experience within maybe aerospace or food manufacturing, that's the criteria we put in. And all this is reversing it so that you're putting in the right stuff for you so that you can find that.
Yeah, good.
In the chat now.
While Ruth's typing, just to second that, I think one of the things that we get stuck in when we're looking for jobs is getting stuck very much always just searching a title. And we all know, don't we, if you type in program manager, you might get something from a salary of 16,000 all the way through to 200,000. It's going to be very varied. So the reason why I said at the beginning is point one is to do this planning element and thinking about us and what's good for us. That also gives us a whole different dialogue and a whole different vocabulary of criteria that we want to be searching. I was doing something with somebody this week where we're looking at a senior operations job, and if you type in operations jobs in Northamptonshire, again, that there's a massive range of different salaries that come up. There's different industries, but for her, one of the things that was absolutely key, she wanted to be the back of scene facilitator. She wanted to be the driving force, but in a back office type operations role. And that word facilitation was a word that we were able to use to put in our searching. Operations manager, facilitating it for other people. And if you just, again, put in those terms, that behavioural element with your searching, again, that's going to hone in what's right. So we're not just looking for operational tasks, we're also looking for the characteristics of the business and the role. So what are we going to do, but also how do you want to do it? So that how needs to be included in your searching as well. So Ruth's just put those in there. Do have a look at them. They are really good. I mean, it's the classic, please don't spend all day trawling the job boards at the moment. It's not a positive world. But if you can be sitting there and you can be concentrating on putting this cyclical process into place whilst the jobs are being sent to you, happy days. From a mental health, it's better. From a use of time, from a productivity, it's all definitely helps towards finding this right thing.
And I think like you say, Charlotte, about that looking after your mental well-being, we are talking about how to find the right job for you. This is what this session was all about, and having that clear in your mind, and so that you're not getting, you can be looking at the job boards and it's like, oh, there's a little shiny thing over here, let me have a look at this one, and then you're suddenly looking at something totally different and your mind feels like it's just going to explode. Being clear on what the right job looks like for you today and what you're prepared to compromise on and your non-negotiables. So you may have those three lists of, this is a right job for me today, but actually what I would like to aspire to is this in 6 months' time. So even all those sort of things in the plan. So you in your mind, you're thinking, yeah, that's acceptable. I need to do this today. But actually, for me, thinking about my career and long term, this is where I'm aiming for. So I can keep an active eye on that perfect job.
Exactly. So whilst we've now freed up a little bit of your time in your job search by setting up these searches, we've got our plan, we've set up our searches, we've got a little bit of time. One of the things, the next phase and next thing is to really connect with people. Build your army of people and warriors. Build your people around you who are going to help support you in this journey. So when we apply for a job, yes, we apply for it. Yes, it might just say upload your CV. It's very easy to find out who the hiring manager is. Please pick up the phone. Be brave. Everyone always says, oh, but you must get hundreds of calls. No, we really don't. We're the hirers. We're the people that you apply to. And we're also the coaches telling you, this is the bit that gets you noticed. This is the bit that helps you get that right thing, by people picking up the phone, making the introduction, building your network of people around you so that you can say, Ruth, I wanted to ring you. You've got this engineering manager job. I've just applied for it through Reed. I'm really interested in talking. Could you tell me more about it? Can I talk to, what else have you got on this is me, this is my background. You're building a rapport, you're connecting, and you're creating this circle of people and this support around you. It might be that that's not the right thing, and that role's not going to be suitable. And it's much better that Ruth tell you at this point in the process. But if you've had a really robust, really solid conversation, it's fantastic then for Ruth to be able to say, do you know what? There's something else I've got for you that might be better. Or, in 3 months' time, do you know what? You and I don't know if you remember me. You rang me, you applied for one of my engineering jobs. That wasn't right, but I've got this one. It's a really, really good way. And don't forget, these are long-term connections that we want to do. Again, LinkedIn is a great way to reach out to people. If there's a hiring manager and you see they've got quite a few things to do, great little note. Don't just do connect, but you can add a note. Wanted to write to you, here I am typing. I always do it, gesticulating. Wanted to get in touch with you, to reach out to you. You've got quite a lot of things. I can see that you're advertising. They all look great. What's the best way to, can I ring you? I thought we should connect on here as well. But spend the time connecting, building these relationships. And that's our final point. But Ruth, you would agree on, and I know obviously for you, LinkedIn, particularly in the world of engineering recruitment, manufacturing, FMCG, they're all really, really big.
Yeah, they are. And what I would say at the moment is, with the volume, and this advice is going out to quite a lot of people, is if you don't get a response back, don't worry. Because the internal recruiters or the hiring managers, more and more people will be connecting. So it's the right thing to do, but we still see it, and I still see it on LinkedIn where people are saying, I've not heard anything back from my application. I've tried to connect. I've tried to get feedback. It's not going to happen all of the time, but by doing this, you are giving yourself a better chance for the roles that you want to work for, and they will remember you. So do it, but be mindful that not everybody's going to connect back. They might not be active on LinkedIn. They might just not have the time to do that, but it's better to do it and take that chance than to not do it at all. And certainly, from our point of view, the last 2 people I've hired from my business are people that picked up the phone, and from an advert that they read or they wanted to connect with me, they sent me a message, because my business is very much about connecting with people and building those relationships. That's key for me. Obviously, in other businesses, it could be a process orientation role and they're following a process.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate that in the market that we're in at the moment, and if you are sat at home going through all of these applications and not hear anything back, it can feel a bit rubbish. But please don't let that stop you doing it, because it just takes one.
It only takes one. And Ruth, to reiterate, businesses hire people. They don't hire these. And if you can build that rapport from the get-go, you're already a step ahead of the competition. You're already building that. You're already on, you get noticed. I'm saying, wasn't I, 400 and something applications for one job this week. And it's been the people who've rung. It's always the people who ring, or the people who, rather than apply for a job board, see it says on the bottom of an advert, Charlotte Sykes is advertising this position. Here's, get in touch with her. It doesn't take much, guys. Charlotte Sykes, CWR Consultancy. There's my email address. I get a direct note. So rather than, and to let you into a little secret, folks, all of us recruiters, all of us hirers have folders in our emails for all the applications to go into, so they don't go onto our inbox. So guess what? When you get a direct email into your inbox, there might be one of them. That gets noticed. All the other ones, then you go into your read folder, 472 applications. You go, okay, well, I'll go through all those, but there's still only one in that inbox. So it's worth spending the time connecting. I think the other thing connecting at the moment, there's so much stuff online. There's so much of, everybody's trying to create a community, and our way of connecting with people has changed phenomenally over the last few months, but for good. So we're not limited to our geographical area anymore. We are, it's been amazing to have our communities around us, our friends, our family, colleagues, you name it around us, but we've also got this community here. So it's great. And we were saying this morning that we've got people here on this call who have found out about joining this through connections, or by people saying, I've seen this, you really ought to join it. So it's this spider web. The spider web is there to support, and it will always help, and it will always open these opportunities for finding the thing. And again, then it gives us the opportunity to have the conversations to say, this is what I'm looking for. I've At the time, I've done my reflection, I've worked out what I want, I've got my plan, you're the right person I want to talk to, now I'm ready. So
Stuart made a really good comment as well about make sure that your LinkedIn profile matches your CV.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because if you've got gaps in your CV and not gaps in your LinkedIn, and the question, people will look at both. So it's a really, really important thing. And LinkedIn, it is the place that a lot of people will go to and have a look on there, and how relationships are building. So moving on to our final point, which is build. And from this cycle, this is the bit that will carry you through and you can keep coming back to. And, if we go back to what the point of what we're talking about is about you finding the right job. And the right job for you today might be something look very different to the right job of what you're aiming for in 5 years, or 2 years, or whatever period of time that may be. Building those relationships is the thing that will drive your career forward. And we know this from experience, and this works really well. So my big point to everybody is, once you've found your job, don't stop networking and connecting with people, because you don't know what's around the corner. You also could be in a position where you're looking to hire people. So carry on that connection, because you may be able to hire some really great people for your team. You could reach out to people once you've made that connection for any ideas that you may need. You might need some technical information. So you've built a community where you can ask a question. Does anybody know where I can source whatever that may be? Does anybody know a supplier for this? But then fundamentally, I'm looking to hire. Does anybody know this person? And in the reverse, somebody could then reach out to you and say, we've been connected for quite a while. I've got a role. Would you be interested? Or I've got a business opportunity. Would you be interested? That connection, then this is what will take you through the whole of your career. And it's the crucial bit for me of how you then carry on developing your career and make sure that it's the career for you and the job for you. And whether that is LinkedIn, whether it is when we can all start to network a little bit more face-to-face, that you can do face-to-face networking in any exhibitions, if you're part of Chamber of Commerce, if you're part of specific groups within your network, whether they are engineering, legal, finance, you're sharing skills and knowledge, and that's where it becomes that whole collaboration piece, and everybody starts to help each other.
100%.
From an experience within our world, I'm connected with people that I've been connected with for 15 years. I probably haven't. There's certainly people I know that I either haven't found them a job or I haven't recruited for, but we've been connected and I've been able to help their colleagues, or they've recommended things to me. And that's just as important. Also, their wealth of knowledge, that I can pick up the phone and say, sometimes it might be a bit technical. I'm like, I know you're from this industry. Could you just explain to me what this might be about? And I get some additional knowledge. So building your own community, that will help you find that right job, find that career that you will enjoy, and develop your lifelong learning.
And I'm really glad that you come back to that word, because you can see behind me the learn, develop, grow, and for you, lifelong, because learning is lifelong. That building is building knowledge. You're building a knowledge of what people are doing in different businesses, what are different industries doing, how does one business differ from the other, which allows you to map out, or in time I might want to use them as a supplier or a contractor, or I might want to look at them to, go to them for a merger, or I might actually want to go and join them as myself. You're building your knowledge, which means that you can make well-informed decisions. Whether that's about your own personal career, whether it's about obviously this topic is how do we find the right job? So from a personal point of view, having that knowledge allows us to make really good, clear decisions. They're not decisions that are on a whim. And that's why Ruth reiterated, and it must be true, you've got to keep going, because we all get siloed, we get stuck at work, we're all like this, we're concentrating on our day job, jobs are good, and then we get chucked out of the hamster wheel for some unknown reason. So then we go, oh God, what do I do? But if we can just, and we're not saying when you're at work, think that you might not be there and keep looking for other opportunities. In no shape or form are we saying that. We're saying, build your knowledge, build your network, make sure that you keep mapping out, make sure that you keep reassessing, is this what I want? Is this the right thing? If I am going to leave, let's put this plan into place. So that's why we started. And Ruth, do you want to hold up that picture again? Because I think that's really helpful.
There we go, you get my head over it as well today. So yeah, very much about, that lifelong journey.
Yeah, keep working on this. The reason it's about finding the right thing is there's a very clear action plan behind it. This is not I'll go online and the spray and pray approach. It doesn't work. This is a really planned, targeted approach, which then makes sure that we've got the right introductions to the right people. So there we are. Again, our whistle-stop tour, as we promised. Yeah. It's nice. Thank you so much. Obviously, for Stuart and everyone else, if you've got any questions and things, this is the time. But Ruth, do you think then, when we're advising people with our coaching world, we'd give this advice to anybody at any stage, wouldn't we? We'd say to somebody at the start of their career, put this plan.
Yeah, this is the work obviously that we do with secondary schools and with the Careers and Enterprise Company and supporting people on that side. You starting to think about what good work looks like and what's good for you. And it is start of career all the way up. Even for that last part of your career, you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do now? I've got 5 years left before I retire. I'd be going back to that. Okay, so what does good work look like for me now? What's important to me? What's the non-negotiables? What do I need to do? That's in my plan. Then I start off again.
Yeah.
I also think when we're talking about connecting and just picking up on that final bit, connecting and building, why it's really important is you're building your knowledge about, like you say, about businesses, and you're starting to understand what the culture of those companies are and whether you want to be part of that business. So you might not find the right job with them now, but you're keeping an eye on them, and that's the build. And suddenly somebody starts to work in that company. So yeah, for every period of your career, this is all about lifelong learning, lifelong careers that can go into any point of your career.
Yeah, good. Right, there's been a question pop up. Have you got a favourite job board? Oh, I'm having a pause. For those people who know me very well, I'm a traditionalist. I would much prefer to be able to do everything face-to-face anymore, but I know that job boards serve a very good purpose. There's different ones that are good for different things. I think traditionally we would always say from our end that Reed has been very good for office support roles, senior finance roles, anything really with an office support capacity. I would say CV, library, job site, total jobs for us have been historically very good for engineering, technical, electronics, automotive. Look.
No, I don't have a favourite. It's different, isn't it, from a hiring point of view and an applying point of view. I believe that how you can apply very quickly on Indeed is very, very easy. The journey, the customer journey is very good. From our point of view, we get loads through from Reed, so it's more volume, so it's not it doesn't feel as bespoke. Engineering, manufacturing, operational, total jobs, obviously merging with job sites are all in one now. And it's strange, if I go back to the last recession, before the last recession, Monster was the board of choice, and it's not now. So yeah, I would again go back to the plan. If you're logging all of the jobs that you're applying for, you'll see which ones are coming up with the goods.
Yeah.
And that's when you can have a look at that.
Yeah, and likewise, recruitment firms, find your ones that you get on really well with, build the rapport, because there'll be some that have always got stuff that you're interested in, some that you say, do you know what, it's just not the right thing, and that's okay, and it's okay that it's they're not right. There's another quick question. Indeed, appears to be heavily formatted. The application on there. I would always follow up with a call. There you are, very good. Thank you all for your really positive feedback, Ruth. I think we probably better sign off.
We are next week. It's now about marketing yourself, looking at that CV, make sure it's marketed in the right way, you're presenting the message that you want to present, and we'll talk about CVs. Thank you. This has been it's flown by. If anybody wants a copy of the plan and what you should follow, drop me or Charlotte an email, and if you need anything else, connect. And if you want to hear anything else, just drop us a message and say, love to know about this.
Yeah, great. Don't forget, we've said it, connect with us all of you who aren't connected with us on LinkedIn, please do follow us on Be Career Confident, get in touch with us, join the community, and we look forward to seeing you next week at 9:30.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks so much.